It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyrone Lowe. The show is called The Legends. I want to thank everybody all over the world that subscribes and show me love. I want to thank you guys because without you guys, I wouldn't even have a show. You know, in the House of the Legends, man, these guys been here before. This is like a part two. It's very special. And this is my co-host, Jose Rivera. And thank you, Jose, for coming through, man. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful just to have these guys. And he's going to actually... He's gonna actually tell you who these guys are on the show.
Well, thank you once again for having us for this part two edition of Speaking with the Judges, right?
That's the name of it, Speaking with the Judges.
We have a civil court judge, a native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the great man that's actually helping an organization we're going to speak a little bit about, part two of the Roberto Clemente organization. Ladies and gentlemen, Judge Elizar Rodriguez.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here again.
Great to have you. And then, of course, we have his buddy who just got a promotion, but we'll let him speak more about that.
Yeah.
You know, last time he was here, him and Judge Rodriguez were speaking about the civil court.
Right.
And now we're going to learn a little bit about the Supreme Court.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, our great friend Joaquin Oriana.
It's my pleasure and honor to be here.
Welcome to the show, man. It's a pleasure to have both of you guys back, man, because the last show was a real impact on being informative to a lot of people that didn't really know, that was very numb to the system. And it's good to know through your expertise that you're willing to share that with them, because it's very important that they know. Because if you don't know any better. And that causes you to actually interact or misconduct yourself in a way where, you know, it's not suitable, and they miss out, you know. So let's talk about you being, you know, congratulations on upscaling yourself and things. I'm scared of this dude.
You should be. You should be.
Supreme Court. So let's talk about, you know, being humble to that point of being where you are right now.
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't take any credit.
Okay.
This is all God. I mean, I live to honor God and to glorify God. So, and I'm here to serve God, and I serve Him by serving our people, serving the people of the Bronx. This is where God has me. This is where God wants me, and this is what I'm here to do.
Right.
Now, I've been blessed enough to have the brains that God gave me, to have been given the path that God has given me, and to also have had special people in my life, including my brother, Elizar Rodriguez.
Right.
And then people that I've met, you know, that have helped me along the way. You know, and so, you know, I was recently promoted to acting justice of the New York State Supreme Court, Bronx County.
Right.
Because that's where I sit.
Right.
And, you know, again, nothing that I did. It's what God did. I'm here to honor God.
How did you feel when you was actually appointed to that part? When somebody came to you, when you was actually told, listen, this is what we want you to do now?
I mean, I was very humbled by it.
Okay.
You know, I don't like taking credit for anything because, like I said, I don't. It's God that's doing it. It's not me.
Leading your journey.
You know, so I just feel like when I go into work, I have to put in 110%. Because if I don't, then I didn't do right by God.
Right.
Okay.
So, you know, I have to serve. I'm here to serve.
Okay.
I'm here to serve the people.
So, Judge, when you let me ride on that yacht, man?
As soon as I get one. I can't afford one yet.
So what's going on? What's going on in your world as far as being the judge, things of that nature? I mean, from the last time that you've been here.
Well, I've completed 1 year on the bench.
Okay.
All right.
So that's
give him
an
a hand.
anniversary. Yeah, thank you.
Definitely.
And I've learned a lot in the past year.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot from my friend here, who, by the way, I'm going to miss. Although he's going to be in the same building, he's going to be on a different floor.
Right.
But to get to his old office, if I want to go to the bathroom, I have to go past his office. And now when I do that, he's not going to be there.
Okay.
So I'm going to miss you. But I know he's a phone call away. And every time I call him, he always picks up. So that's a good
That's
thing.
great.
And I wish him the best because I think he's a bright person. He's got a good heart. He cares about his community. And I know God has plans for him. He just needs to stay on the path.
Right.
And he'll get there.
I'm sure he will. He's on his way now.
And I don't think Supreme Court will be his last stop. So
Right.
that's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
Just stay in the faith. And I think my brother's going to go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I celebrated my first year as a civil court judge.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot. Civil court is made up of different terms. You got consumer credit, you got no fault, you got small claims and other parts. In this term, I'm sitting in small claims.
Okay.
And it's the people's court.
Right.
And I've learned a lot. But the one thing I want to share, Tyrone, is I want people to have their day. But when they come to courts they come before me, they want to tell me what time they got up in the morning or the process of figuring out what to wear. But that's eating into their time.
Right, right.
And you have so many people in the court waiting to have their moments. So I want people to realize when they come to court, they have to come prepared. And they have to come with 3 pieces of evidence. Now, I'm not talking about 3 different pieces. I'm talking about 3 pieces of each evidence.
Okay.
A copy for them, a copy for the other side, and a copy for the judge.
Right, right.
That makes the process go by quicker. Because my concern is having to rush somebody because I'm up against the clock.
Right.
And I really believe in providing justice. I don't want people coming back 2 or 3 times because at what point does it stop being just? I know
Right.
my brother here, when they come before him, he wants to deal with it. And I've learned that from him.
Right,
and
right.
I've learned to appreciate why that's important. Because the one thing I don't like is at the end of my morning calendar, if someone's got to come back in the afternoon.
That's true. That's true.
Because people were not prepared. I've gone as far as using my own camera to take pictures of evidence just to move the process forward. But when you do that, people watching realize that they should get the same opportunity.
Right,
so
right.
they need to start coming to court prepared with 3 copies of each evidence so they can prove their case. And that's the message that I want to get out there. Be prepared so I can hear your case.
Is there a method where they actually prep them in a sense, as far as giving themselves to you guys and things of that nature? How to really conduct themselves, to deal with the time consumption. So you don't have to wait about you got 20 people waiting and things of that nature. Are they prepped just to get to the point?
They are. They are. They're told in advance they have to come with 3 copies.
Okay.
In fact, one of the things I'm doing this term, which I didn't do last term in small claims, this is my second time in small claims.
Right.
I tell the folks in the audience what I need. I need 3 copies, even after saying that and reiterating it and making a distinction between not 3 different copies, but 3 copies of each. When they come before me, they only have a copy.
Doesn't that concern you with this day and age on the education system and how the youth should be given this information as well as financial growth, right?
Yes.
Because I see there's a high school attached to the court system on 161st Street. Is that like an early career learning right into the court system, or is it just a step in just opportunities?
I think it's a step in opportunity, but in that opportunity includes the opportunity to be able to tell them what they need to come with, so they can be prepared when they come into the courtroom.
Right.
And being on your show, for example, is another opportunity to educate the public what they need, so they can get the proper amount of time when they come into the courtroom.
Right.
Yeah, but we need to start with our youth.
Yeah, definitely.
We got to tell them what the court system expects from each person that comes before the court, before the judge. We have to prepare them. I think it's our responsibility to do all we can to educate our youth. Why? Because they're worth it.
Okay.
Judge, hearing this in the civil court aspect, now in the Supreme Court area, people do come prepared, right? But then human beings are susceptible to having error. Oh, my kids, I got to go to school. My kid just got beat up, get bullied. Or I forgot this document. Can you please just adjourn this? But in the Supreme Court aspect, the seriousness and the level of the case, is there like a specific case that stands out to you, or that you can anticipate? How would you go about it?
Well, whether it's Supreme or civil, every case is serious.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
I take every case serious. They could be a small claims case for $15. It's serious because it's serious to that person.
Right.
The other thing I know as well that I come in to this court with my experience and everything that I've lived in is I know that time is finite. You don't want to waste time because that's something that we don't know how long of it we have. So when people come into court, we want them to be prepared.
Right.
We have great clerks, and our clerks will usually hand everyone a sheet saying, bring 3 copies, this is what you need, stuff like that. Now, some people may read it, some people may not read it. They'll come into court, we'll tell them, and we understand that it's, coming to court is a very scary process.
Right.
And it go in one ear and out the other, so we'll tell them again and again and hope that somehow it gets in there. But when you don't come to court prepared,
Right.
and we don't want to hurt your case, then we have to give it another day. And because we're so backed up, we have so many cases, that date may not be for like a few more months.
Wow. Okay.
Are you going to be here alive in those few more months? Because life is life. So we understand. So I respect everyone's time. Everyone's time. I don't care what you do. You could be the president or you could be a janitor. It doesn't matter. I respect your time and I want, to do your case. So I think it's very important that you come prepared. And believe it or not, in Supreme Court, although I have not taken the bench in Supreme yet because I just got promoted, and so the first 2 weeks we go to judge school. We get a training on it. But I've been in Supreme Court, and it's more lawyers that you're dealing with in Supreme Court.
It's more open.
But you'd be surprised some of them don't come prepared.
Oh, wow.
The lawyer.
And I find that even more objectionable because you're professional. This is your job. So for me, it's like, well, if you're not coming prepared, how can I expect your client to be prepared?
Right.
Quick question. I learned this in school, Monroe University, criminal justice major. Shout out to you guys. We're sitting in class one day, professor asks everyone, can you sue your attorney? The entire class said, no, you can't. I was the only person that sat there, and the professor looks at me and says, what's your answer? I said, yes, you can. Can you give both the reasoning and different perspectives on a case that can possibly happen? Judge?
All right, I guess I'll go first. Well, yeah, so there is something called malpractice.
Right.
Malpractice isn't just for the medical profession, it's actually for any professional, including attorneys. Right? But there's, in a civil case, there's always 2 parts, right? There's, the negligent part, right? In other words, the attorney acted in a way that no other attorney in that nature would have acted, right? In that reasonable attorney would have acted, right? But then the other part is damages, right? So an attorney can mess up, but if it doesn't hurt you, you don't have anything. You know what I mean? Because there's 2 parts. You have to have damages, right? That's the other part, right? What was your damages? Now, you can have a situation where the attorney really messes up, and now a case that may have been worth $100,000, now it's out the window, and all you have is to sue the attorney for what you should have been compensated for, right? So, and usually attorneys have, insurance for that, malpractice insurance. But typically we don't want that. The courts don't want that. And, we try to give as much opportunity as we can, but we also understand that, we like to get these cases resolved as quick as possible and as efficiently as possible. And preparation is key, especially because as jurists, okay, and I can say this because I've observed my colleague here. We come in prepared. We read our cases. We know coming in. All right, we know what they're going to say and what they're going to argue, what this case is about, what one side is saying, what other side is saying. So when they come in and say, "Oh, Judge, I need time. I don't have this, I don't have that," and wait a minute.
Oh, wow.
So
It happens.
right?
It
And it
happens.
happens. I mean, so I mean, I've done cases that the accident occurred 20 years ago.
Wow.
20 years ago.
Well, you know what? Hold that thought, and we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house. It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house.
And we're back with the series of Judges 2 with my co-host, Jose Rivera, in the house. Now, we were talking about the revolving door as far as the case is concerned, how it can actually be an infraction on your behalf as being sued. So we want to continue on that factor.
With the lawyers and misrepresentation, if say Tyrone is my lawyer and I feel that the case is no longer going my way or unsatisfactory, and I say, Tyrone, I'm not pleased with your services, you're fired. But the case turns even worse because I saw he missed evidence that could have helped me. Am I able to sue Tyrone for misrepresentation, for key evidence?
For negligence, right? For
Right.
malpractice.
Yeah, in a sense,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, if based on what you said, and the case basically gets tossed.
Correct.
I mean, it sounds to me that you have a very viable case.
Right.
You know, you'd have to actually. I would recommend that you speak to a malpractice attorney
Okay.
to see, you know, what kind of case you would have, whether or not it's viable or not. You can always, you know, sue yourself, but
Right.
a lot of self-represented litigants that will come into court, they don't really know what they're doing. They don't understand a lot of the elements that are required in a case that you have to show, that you have to prove, that an attorney would know. So, you know, I always suggest that you speak to a professional about that. But I mean, just based on the hypothetical that you gave me, I mean, it sounds like you have certainly a case for malpractice, because you're alleging that a malpractice took place, and two, damages of where your viable case was basically dismissed because, you know, there was some sort of evidence that wasn't shown. And again, just based on that fact pattern, you know, I mean, there could be a lot of other things that may have happened that, you know, could turn the case.
One
But-
shot deal.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
shot
yeah.
deal. Landlord trying to kick me out. Tyrone helped me, but then I find out Tyrone's in cahoots with the landlord.
It happens.
I mean,
That's
that's
every
a
day.
conflict. I mean, there's a conflict of interest
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah, you know, funny thing is that sometimes there'll be situations where we have what we call per diem attorneys, right? They don't really represent anybody, but they'll cover on behalf of a firm.
That's a problem.
And so these per diem attorneys, right? Ideally, what you want to do is you want to keep a conflict list, right? A conflict of interest list, right? So if you represented one side, you want to put that side on and say, okay, I can never represent another side against this side because I've represented them, right? But some attorneys may not keep that list,
Right.
right? And so they'll end up trying to represent one side, and then a few appearances later, they'll represent the other side.
Wow.
The good,
Wow. That's grimy,
yeah,
man.
but the good thing is that we're very aware,
Right.
we're very prepared, and we have our own list. So I've I'll say, whoa, you can't represent this person.
Right.
You appeared for the other side already.
All right.
And so they'll, oh my God, I mean, they're not doing it on purpose.
Right.
These are per diems. They're always in the courthouse, and they're just trying to make their fees on just being there and just representing.
Right.
But that's one issue we have. And the other issue that we have also with these per diems is that sometimes they don't know the case.
Oh, okay.
They've just been thrown in
They've
there.
just been prepped, yeah.
They'll get a call. Hey, I have a court case. Can
But
you
I think
cover
that's
for me
very
today?
fair, though. in
No,
a
it's
sense.
not fair, because then they come up before you and you say, okay, well, what's going on with this, Judge? I don't know. I need an adjournment.
Okay.
I had a case like that where the attorney was not prepared, and the case was on 3 times, and he thought that he could ask for an adjournment, but I wasn't going to grant one. Fortunately for the attorney, the claimant couldn't prove his case, so it didn't become an issue. But yeah, that happens often. But the answer you gave to your professor was absolutely correct. You can sue your attorney for not providing you with the services that you retained that attorney to perform.
Thank you.
But you have to prove the damages.
Through curiosity, before we get into Roberto Clemente, because we're going to talk about that. It's a very, very important thing that we really to be based on. Have you guys ever made an abrupt decision finally, and then you go back and look at it and say, you know what, it should have been another decision?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, so there are times when I'm on the bench, right, that, I'll hear a case and I'm leaning one way, right? I'll say reserve decision, okay? So I don't give my decision on the record, but I'll reserve decision, right? And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go this way. And then I'll look more into it, I'll be like, well, wait a minute. And then it'll turn, right? Usually I'll look at some different cases, another a point of view, and then I have my court attorney, right?
Okay.
That, he'll give me his opinion as well, right? Because the court attorney is very valuable. This is the judge's lawyer,
Okay.
right? So they work for us, but they do research for us, and they help us a lot of times because
Right.
they can give us a different aspect too,
Perspective.
So right, a different perspective. So there's been a few times that I've changed my mind after speaking to my court attorney
Okay.
and looking at a couple of cases that he'll bring me and say, "Oh, Judge, I want you to look at this case before you go that way."
Right.
And I'll say, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, "Okay, perfect," because I want to make sure that I get the
Once you make
decision
your judgment, it's
correct.
final.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So the most important thing is that you reserve decision. You don't want to issue a decision and then go back and although there was one time that I actually withdrew my decision and changed it because I was 100% certain about going one way, and then something else came out afterwards, and I'm
Right.
like, oh, wait a minute. I said no.
Okay.
So I had to withdraw but usually you want to reserve the decision, right?
Okay.
Even though you can be leaning one way, and then really look at it and really think about it, and then issue the final decision on paper.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a transformation now. We're going to turn the page a little bit. We're going to talk about Roberto Clemente and your experience and things of that nature. I think that's something that's very important, and you've been involved for a while. So tell the viewers about it, past tense and current event.
You just had a recent event.
I did. Let me begin by saying that my involvement in promoting Roberto Clemente's legacy was based on a dream, a spiritual dream. I'm a man of faith. And as I explored the dream further is how I got engaged in promoting Clemente's legacy.
Right.
To make a long story short, after spending several years trying to figure out the meaning of the dream, I came to realize that the purpose of the dream was to complete his last mission. So
Right.
it took me years to figure that out. Then on December 31st in 2005, I chartered an airplane in Puerto Rico, and I filled it with the aid that Roberto Clemente supposedly was taken to Nicaragua when his plane crashed.
Right.
His plane crashed on December 31st, 1972. And sadly, on that day, baseball lost a star, and America lost a hero, and the world lost a great humanitarian. In Puerto Rico, we lost a native son. 33 years later, based on that dream, I was led to complete his last mission. So on December 31st, 2005, an airplane full of aid landed in Nicaragua, leaving Puerto Rico to complete a promise that he made to the earthquake victims years before, many years before.
So my question up to that point, you took the flight with a relative of Roberto Clemente?
I went with Roberto Clemente Jr.,
Okay.
his son, and a documentarian that went with me, so we can keep track of that historic moment, because we were attempting to pay Mr. Clemente the ultimate tribute.
So you mentioned a key word there, a documentarian. Speak about a series, a documentary that's out currently.
Yes, the project was called The Flight for Humanity, Mr. Clemente's Last at Bat. And the Last at Bat was based on a riddle that was part of my dream, which was, the riddle was, you share my numbers, bat for me.
Okay.
So I spent years working with numbers.
Okay.
Clemente died on December 31st. I was born December 13th.
Okay.
I was
Judge,
13
we
yes.
have like 2 minutes, so
Sure.
can we just fast forward to...
Absolutely, absolutely. So as a result of that, this year marked, 2025 marked the 20th anniversary of the Flight for Humanity.
Okay.
So we had a subsequent video that talked about what we did years before, but also now we're calling to retire Clemente's number 21. This year will be the 21st anniversary of the Flight for Humanity, which corresponds with his number 21. So now we're moving to retire his number. But I want the world to know that of all the people, all the organizations, there was a Bronx organization that completed Mr. Clemente's last promise to the earthquake victims of Nicaragua.
Yes.
Wow.
That's powerful.
That's powerful, man. Yeah,
Go Bronx.
That's on that. Yeah, definitely. You know, it's been a pleasure, and I mean a pleasure to have you guys on my show again. I'm looking for a part 3
Me
because
too.
this is so exciting.
Yeah,
I
I'm ready
mean,
for part
really,
3.
if you really look at it, it's not political.
No,
It's good for the community.
it's education.
It's good for people to know that, hey, we have people of high levels that can actually, since not selfish enough to withhold information to the point where the public really needs to know, because that helps a whole lot of people.
It does.
And not only that, it keeps them out of court.
Information is costly. You're right, but information is costly to the point where you end up in court.
Most
If
definitely.
you don't have the accurate documentation.
that's right.
Yes.
And the procedures, like you said, there's 3 steps, right? And each person or each department should have the correct documentation to support the evidence, right?
And we want to make sure that we get it right.
Right, definitely. You know, I thank you guys for coming again. Jose, as always, man, this is my brother. I love him
you
to
so
death,
much.
man. And this has been another Tilo Vito production. Y'all guys stay tuned for another episode of mine. And these guys are coming back, you know, because you guys have to live and learn. So this has been another Tilo Vito production. You guys stay tuned for another episode.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.